Nobody warned you that the older you get, the harder it becomes to explain why you enjoy being alone. Because people worry. And there's a look people give you when you say you prefer staying home on a Friday night. It's subtle, but you notice it. A mix of concern and confusion. As if choosing your own company is a problem that needs solving. But you've lived long enough to know what you enjoy. And you know, better than anyone, that being alone and being lonely are two completely different things. Solitude without awareness can disconnect you. That's true. But when you're intentional about it, something powerful happens. Your mind works differently. The way you think, the way you connect with people, the way you handle pressure, all of it starts to shift. And people who spend a lot of time alone eventually notice 4 changes happening inside them. Let's understand how each of them works and changes how you see your routine. The first pillar is about how you see yourself. When you are always surrounded by people, your attention is focused outward. Conversations and the reactions of others pull your mind to what is happening around you all the time. But being alone turns that attention back to yourself. Without that constant stimulation, your mind starts to observe itself. You notice your thoughts more clearly and recognize emotional patterns that went unnoticed before. This kind of reflection greatly strengthens your emotional intelligence. It becomes easier to recognize what annoys you, control your reactions, and understand other people's behavior. What many call overthinking is often just you learning about yourself on a deeper level. But there is a warning here. When you spend too much time analyzing your own emotions, it is very easy to get stuck inside your own head. Thoughts start spinning in circles, and reflection turns into rumination. To balance this deep reflection and keep your mind healthy, there's a practice that works really well. It's called small expectations. It can be something very simple on your calendar, like the arrival of a new book, or that special coffee on Saturday morning. The simple fact of having a plan pulls you out of inertia and gets you moving. When you are alone, it is very easy to just let the days pass by. Putting something good on the horizon pulls your attention forward and keeps your mind naturally motivated. And that is the first pillar. But the next one explains why so many people who live alone end up losing themselves, even with all the time in the world. The second pillar is about your routine. When you spend a lot of time alone, there is no one to hold you accountable for dinner, cleaning, or a bedtime. Total freedom without structure increases anxiety. Inertia easily takes over when no one is watching. A clear routine fixes this and keeps your mind organized. Having a set time to wake up and start the day organizes your body. Setting aside a short amount of time to handle household chores keeps the environment under control. And when you organize your physical space and your time, your brain gets room to breathe. Think about it. People who are always surrounded by noise and conversations rarely have time to listen to themselves and let their minds wander freely. Solitude creates this crucial space. In it, your brain starts working at its own pace. You start noticing small details in the situations around you, connecting things that didn't seem related, noticing what was always there but never clear enough. The quieter the environment, the louder your own thinking becomes. While you enjoy the silence, your mind is active, working in a way that only happens when no one is interrupting. You reach this state because you cleared the clutter out of the way with a basic routine. Silence did the rest. And that is exactly where the third pillar comes in. Because when your mind gains this clarity, it starts filtering something else besides tasks. The third pillar changes how you relate to people. Spending a lot of time alone changes how you view connection with others. Social interaction stops being automatic, and you begin to notice a very clear difference in your energy levels. Some conversations give you energy, others just drain your focus. When you realize the truth, you naturally start valuing a smaller number of connections, the ones that really matter. Superficial interaction completely loses its appeal. You start turning down invitations to events where the dynamic feels forced. This happens because you learned the value of your own energy. When you choose to spend time with someone, you ensure that moment has real meaning. Many see this behavior as distance or coldness. In practice, it reflects a lot of emotional clarity. You understand that not every connection deserves to take up space in your routine. Because of this, the relationships you choose to keep become much deeper. And this leads to the last pillar. Because when you learn to filter the people around you, something bigger happens to the way you think. The fourth pillar is perhaps the most powerful. It is about how you think. When you spend your days surrounded by many voices, something subtle happens. You start repeating opinions you heard from someone else as if they were your own. You agree with things because everyone around you agrees, not because you thought about it, but because it's easier to go along. And over time, you lose track of which ideas are actually yours. Solitude gives back the space your mind needs to think for itself. You pause before agreeing with something. You question what comes your way instead of just accepting it. If everyone around you is following a trend or a popular opinion, you naturally take a step back. You evaluate if it makes sense to you and if you really believe in it. This independence protects you from following patterns that do not match your values. Your decisions start coming from within. And when your decisions come from within, no one can push you down a path that is not yours. Society usually rewards those who are always visible, busy, and available. Because of this, many people feel a silent guilt for preferring to stay home or for enjoying their own silence. But those who truly learn to be alone discover something surprising. Your own company becomes completely sufficient when you master your space. And when you reach that point, time alone becomes the most efficient tool you have to live intentionally.